Evening, friends. Ash here, WAT News, with more election updates. It's December the 7th, 2020. And I had dug this Dominion thing a little bit before. I know in another video I did, and I just don't remember which one. And I know I looked into HSBC a little bit, but what I realized was that this is a way bigger deal. I had to step away from it for a second, and there's so much stuff swirling around now, guys, that I couldn't think clear. And so when I stepped back away, I went and I got some food, and I was chilling, and I started to read this article, which is from Dr. Daniel Blumenthal at WordPress.com, and it's entitled Dominion Voting Patents to China Bank HSBC for Collateral. And she had links to the actual assignments, and I'm going to go into that in a second. She writes, Dr. Blumenthal writes, huge Dominion voting system patents given to China Bank HSBC as collateral in 2019. HSBC received ownership of patents to intellectual property of elections, ballots, systems, cyber, and internet capacities, unquote. Communist People's Republic of China financially captured collateral of America's Dominion voting systems, machines, and security software application holdings. The information source of origination came well documented from the U.S. federal government, as mentioned by the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, and elsewhere, including the proprietary original equipment manufacturer, OEM, Dominion Voting System Incorporated, DVS, financial collateral owner in Canada, was HSBC Inter Alia, the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation of China that was officially assigned 18 different patents listed within one patent assignment on September 25th, 2019, that belonged to Dominion Voting System Incorporated. The security agreement pertaining to all intellectual property rights pursuant to those 18 patents listed in Schedule A was signed by Michael McGee, authorized signor on behalf of Dominion Voting System, Inc., DVS. And it lists the 18 patent numbers. Okay, so here's the two links, and I'll include all this in my video. So first, I found, which is the assignment patent assignment cover sheet, which is dated September the 26th, 2019. But before I start, the real thing that struck me about this whole thing is whoever did the due diligence for our voting systems, and I know each state does that, but whoever these people were, somebody had to have either missed this, or they knew about it and they went ahead anyway. And if you knew that a voting company that was a foreign-based company, first off, in Canada, sold 18 different patents to China through HSBC Bank, or used those as collateral for a loan or some other such thing, and that was listed in public, and you didn't notice it, then you have a big problem as far as I'm concerned, because look at the execution date of this. It's last year. It's like 9/20. It's not a long time ago. We see here the receiving party data is nature of conveyance is a security agreement, submission type new assignment, Dominion Voting Systems Corp. Execution date 9/25/2019. Receiving party data, name HSBC Bank as collateral agent. So this is something for some form of collateral, which is, right, you're getting money, a loan. They're putting up 18 of their patents to get some sort of loan of some sum from HSBC Bank Canada as collateral agent. Here's the patent numbers, total 18, and below towards the end, it'll list out what all these patent numbers are for, and we're going to go through that. So these are just all the different numbers, and you're not sure at this point what they are, right? We don't know. Fax number correspondence will be sent to the email address first. If that is unsuccessful, it will be sent using a fax. Chapman and Cutler LLP Attention, Soren Schwartz. Okay. Let's keep going down here. Oops. Recordation form, cover sheet, U.S. Department of Commerce. Here's all the documents. 6/30/2021. Expires 6/30/2021. Huh. So this is going to expire at some point. Interesting. Okay. I don't know a lot about these kind of contracts. This isn't my game, but I know, and that's what I wanted to also talk about real quick, guys, is what I'm finding super interesting is that there's all these people that are digging information. And they're not mainstream news people. They're people like me and just everyday people who are just like sick of the mainstream news and want to find out what's going on. And what's happening is like one guy's digging something and it's working for him but he can't put the whole thing together maybe, or he can't see the whole picture, but then another guy's like watching that video maybe 2 or 3 days later, whatever it is, or a week or a year later even, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, that makes sense. I remember watching this guy's video. And so it's like, what's happening. That's what's happening. So let me get back to this guy. Sorry. Name of conveying parties, Dominion Voting Systems, HSBC Bank Canada as collateral agent. Nature of conveyance, execution date is 9/25/19. This is a security agreement. And application or patent numbers. See attached U.S. patents and applications in Schedule A of Notice of Security Interest in Intellectual Property. Additional numbers attached, yes. So name and address to whom correspondence concerning the document should be mailed. That's their lawyers, Chapman and Cutler LLP. Soren Schwartz. Where have I heard that name? I don't know. I thought I heard that name somewhere before. Alright, I gotta figure that one out. Oh, that was the other thing. I dug the place that guy works, the Voting Works, in a statement said that they were incubated by another company or another something for the I can't remember the name of it now. It was in the thing that they in their statement saying they thanked this particular something for democracy center thing, for incubating them. That center is run by Christopher Reeve's daughter. I found out as the CEO of that. Not that that means anything. I don't know. I'm just saying. I thought it was I saw the name and she looked familiar, but I didn't put it together. And I realized after looking up that company that incubated Voting Works, whatever that means in their statement. That company, the CEO, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that company or they did anything wrong. I'm noting that it's run by Christopher Reeve's daughter as the CEO, and she has a hyphenated name, so it's Reeve Givens, I think, is her last name. Not that that's any information. I just take note of odd little things. I know a little bit about a lot of shit. That sometimes gets you by better than knowing a lot about a few things. But anyway, so let's get through this. Sorry, guys. Notice of security interest and intellectual property. This notice of security interest and intellectual property notice is dated as of the 25th day of September 2019. Whereas Dominion Voting Systems Corporation, a corporation organized under the laws of the province of Ontario, the debtor, whose full address is 215 Spadina Avenue, Suite 200, Toronto, Ontario, M5T2C7, is the owner of the registered intellectual property set forth in Schedule A, attached hereto, collectively the intellectual property. And whereas the debtor entered into inter alia a general security agreement, the security agreement in favor of HSBC Bank Canada in its capacity as administrative and collateral agent, the agent whose full address is 70 York Street, 4th floor, Toronto, by which the debtor granted to the agent inter alia a security interest and lien in all of its intellectual property, including the intellectual property described in Schedule A. So wait a minute, I got to reread that. because in my real estate business, you have to read legal documents many times because they hide the shit, and they do it just like that. They hide the shit in subsection 42, like way down in the shit, right? They hide it in a paragraph, and it's worded in a certain way. So let's reread this whole paragraph right here. And whereas the debtor entered into inter alia, a general security agreement, the security agreement in favor of HSBC Bank Canada, in its capacity as administrative and collateral agent, the agent, whose full address is blah blah, by which the debtor granted to the agent inter alia a security interest and lien in all of its intellectual property, all, including the intellectual property described. So they're giving this person all of its intellectual property, not some, not these 15, 18 patents. In a sense, it's all, because, doesn't all mean all? Right. Now, therefore, for good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby acknowledged, and in accordance with the terms and obligations set forth in the security agreement, the debtor hereby confirms the granting of a security interest and lien in the intellectual property to the agent. The debtor hereby certifies that the aforementioned information as it relates to the debtor is true and accurate. This document was signed by Michael McGee, title authorized signing officer of Dominion Voting Systems Corp. So he just signed away the keys to the castle, pretty much. Okay, here's the Schedule A of the U.S. patents and applications. And these are what they all are. Okay, these were all the things that were numbered up in the beginning, and you can see that the numbers match up here. And you can go do your due diligence and go back and forth. I already did. Most of the issue dates, I noticed that these are from way back, right? Here's one from 2014. But look at what these things are. Let's just read them all so you can see what they're giving them. Title: Electronic Correction of Voter Marked Paper Ballot. Ballot adjudication in voting systems utilizing ballot images. Ballot adjudication in voting systems utilizing ballot images. Continuation of U.S. Patent 8913787. System, method, and computer program for vote tabulation with an electronic audit trail. System, method, and computer program for vote tabulation with an electronic audit trail. Audit trail again. System, method, and computer program for vote tabulation, again with the audit. Systems and methods for providing security in a voting machine. Systems and methods for providing security in a voting machine again. Voting booths, voting terminal and stand, pair of enclosure doors, voting terminal and keypad. Systems and methods for transactional ballot processing and ballot auditing. Ballot level security features for optical scan voting machine capable of ballot image processing. Secure ballot printing and ballot layout authentication and verification. Ballot image processing system and method for voting machines. Systems for configuring voting machines, docking device for voting machines, warehouse support. This is the whole store, right? It's the whole freaking store. And whoever put this in place, you had to have known this. These are U.S. documents. These are public record U.S. documents filed in the patent office in different places. That's what your due diligence should have uncovered, right? Ownership of the above referenced patents has been assigned to Dominion Voting Systems Corp. Canadian patent. They got a pending one. I don't know. This might be done now. But I noticed that back there where it said expired 2021, does that mean that so did China just basically buy these extend a loan to this company to gain access to certain patents that they could then use to put back doors into the system or trapdoors? It's starting to look like that to me. They had to have known that we were using this system, right? It had been talked about. It wasn't like it was new, right? It was new in some states, but other states already had it implemented. So my point is that a lot of states already had this. And if they could have put a back door in, now how could you do your due diligence and not know about this? Unless it was kept from the public, right? But it can't be, because it's a U.S. registered trademark. Dominion Voting Systems is listed in the Canadian Patent Office records as the current owner of record for the above referenced patent application, but this application is to be assigned to Dominion Voting Systems Corporation post-closing pursuant to the undertaking. Okay, here's some more serial numbers. Dominion Voting. This is what I wanted to get into because I didn't look into any of these other things yet, really, and maybe there's something in one of these. Okay, so we have trademark, Dominion Voting, Democracy Suite, ImageCast, Audit Mark, Assure, AVC Advantage, AVC Edge, Optech, Optech Insight. Let's see, I mean, some of these are way back. Optech goes back to, they filed this in October 1987, dude. This is way back. December 1997 for AVC Edge. 1988 AVC Advantage. These are like way old, but I guess they're still using these. Like they never upgraded, or are these some kind of, I don't know, like this is beyond me. I'm not a computer dude. Like I can't, figure out like all this stuff, but I'm more of a trying to figure out scam guy. Backtracking and figuring out, this is like, I was thinking, I was talking to a friend and saying that this is bigger than the Sting. Remember the movie The Sting, like the original, where it's like this huge thing, scam, and they're running like this fake betting parlor and this whole thing, right? This is like 10 times bigger than that. So, yeah, so that's that. The assignments, U.S. Gov. What else? I found something else, I thought. Wait a minute. Yeah, here. This is assignment, USPTO.gov, patent index. Patent assignment, security agreement, the same thing, right? September 26, 2019, Dominion Voting Systems. I didn't actually click on this yet. Alright, let me go back. Didn't really do anything. Oops. Sorry guys, I messed up. Let me go back to that, find that link for a second here. I think it was this one. Yeah. So Dominion Voting System, 18 property total. This shows the actual inventors on each thing here. John Paul Holmwood, Thomas Keeling, Paul David Terwilliger. Let's see, system method and computer program for vote tabulation with audit trail. Goran Obradovich. He could be maybe some of the Ukrainian connection here. Nick Economakis. Where is that? I heard that name too somewhere. James Hoover. John Poulos. I want to check the names and see if anybody else comes up that I heard of somewhere. Eric Coomer. Here we go. Ballot level security features for optical scan voting machine capable of ballot image processing, secure ballot printing, and ballot layout, authentication, and verification. I remember when I dug this because I looked up some of this stuff, but I didn't connect it all. That I didn't realize at that time that that they used this as in a sense as collateral for a loan. They literally gave up the guts of their program. It looks like to me. Here's another one Coomer did: ballot image processing system and method for voting machines. Yeah, I'm just trying to like gameplay this out. Like, how could anyone in the United States government and who's in the position to say anything yes or no about voting machines, and then you realize it's not done on a federal basis, right? It's state by state. So in other words, now you're starting to see something, right, where it's like when I was looking at that thing and the girl, remember she was saying, oh, well, he didn't do his due diligence on these people at VoterWorks or whatever, right? But he didn't do his due diligence on the whole company, right? Because if you had, and you started to do any kind of research, right, you would have come up with this stuff. And you would have said, well, wait a minute, this company, I can't use their voting system. They sold 18 patents or used them as collateral with China, which means China has access to all that stuff. And they could have done anything and then put it in the newer machines and sent it over to us under the Dominion umbrella, right? And you wouldn't even know that they're involved unless you look up these papers and you happen to notice it. And I'm sure some important people made sure that those papers never came up, but now people are starting to come figure it all out, right? And that's what the hive mind does. That's where I wanted to end this video with. The hive mind can't be defeated. And the reason it can't be defeated is because there's too many people looking into it now. You can't censor everybody. You can only censor some people some of the time. And there's other platforms coming up where there's more information, right? Arizona Supreme Court agrees to hear election challenge after investigation of 100 ballot sample finds 3% of the ballots were deemed fraudulent in favor of Biden. So yeah, there's so much information, you can't kind of ignore that, right? When information like that comes out where information where all of a sudden we're saying, well, wait a minute, I put 100 ballots for each guy through this machine and one guy's got a lead now. And it shouldn't be that way, right? It should be 50-50 because that's what I had it set up for. Legal scholar argues that states which were undecided on the winner of the presidential race at midnight election day acted outside the Constitution and their results are therefore void. Could be an argument. Republican Arizona legislators call for decertification of false election results. So we've got a lot of breaking stuff, guys. A lot of breaking stuff. Senator Cruz pledges to argue Pennsylvania election case in Supreme Court if case accepted. He could do a good job. He's got a lot of knowledge on this Constitution. All right, guys. I just wanted to check the news real quick. Let's keep digging this transaction because anybody that signed off on this voting company who knew about this is criminal, and if they didn't know about it, then at the least you could say you didn't do your due diligence properly and you really made a huge mistake in not knowing this. But this is information this is evidence. This is factual evidence of this company was involved with China. They sold 18 of their patents and used them as collateral on a loan of some kind, and we don't know what that number figure is because it's not listed here. And I don't know if part of those things expire at some point. It seemed like that document may have expired in 2021 at some point, but we don't know that. But what we do know is that HSBC Bank is partly owned by parts of China, right? They have a Shanghai part, and there's a whole Chinese component to HSBC where they're not the majority owners, but they are part owners of a large stake in it. And so now you have a Chinese bank that you sold the guts of your program to, literally. I mean, they have all the guts of it now, and they could do pretty much anything they want with that, I would think. And I'm not a computer expert. I also wanted to give a shout out to Tori Says News. I really like her. Stuff that she does on YouTube. You can look her up at Tori Says News. She has a couple different sites. Tore Says News. She's awesome. Pamela Geller, people like that. There's a big there's a big layout that Tori Says News was talking about. Also, by the way, you can check out an Epoch Times. Lays out all the voter fraud stuff that they've uncovered so far. Goes into huge detail about it. I'm going to probably do a video on that soon. So with that, guys, I want to end this video before it gets too long. Let's dig all this security agreement because that has to come out. That's a huge story. That should be on that should be all over CNBC and all the financial channels. That's a huge financial story that's being ignored. China had bought 18 patents of Dominion, and it's basically the whole guts of their system, or a lot of it. So with that, guys, have a wonderful night. This is Ash, WAT News, signing off.